Okay. This beautiful card was painted by Michelle in Florida, and she sent me all of these small little index cards that I chopped up and write these little sentiments of loving kindness. This one reads, let me get my glasses on so I can make sure I really see it. This one says, may you step over the threshold between knowing and uncertainty with an open heart. May you step over the threshold between knowing and uncertainty with an open heart. That is so perfect for today. I love it. Friends, I'd like to invite us all to arrive and to just settle in. And I'd like to preface this practice today with a sincere invitation to turn your attention inward and allow your body and your mind the freedom to be at ease, to relax, to lie down, to even fall asleep if that is what your body needs. I like to encourage this on a regular basis because on the journey of recovery, the body needs so much more time to rest and to heal than we ever give it permission to have. And so let's prioritize rest and healing, while at the same time we are listening. And even if your listening is passive, where you're in and out, you're still receiving this wisdom. And invite that to be perfect, exactly as it is. And let's settle in even deeper by turning the attention toward the breath and just the gentle rhythm of breathing in and breathing out. For the month of January in the Spokane Sangha, we have been exploring one of the foundations of the Buddhist practice, the Four Noble Truths. The first noble truth is there is discomfort. We're going to be uncomfortable in this life. The second noble truth is there are reasons for this. There are conditions for this. And when we can understand those conditions, the third noble truth is enacted, which is our discomfort, our suffering, our malcontent begins to ease. There's an end to the craving, to the attachment, to the grasping and clinging. And the fourth noble truth is there's a way to do this. There's a way to experience this. In the tradition, it's called the Noble Eightfold Path. I like to simplify it and call it practice. And while these principles are ancient, they are so relevant in this contemporary world. On Wednesdays, we have been exploring, in complement to the monthly theme, we've been exploring a book called Guide to the Bodhisattva's Way of Life. And this is the work of Shantideva, an 8th century monk. And we have finished the first chapter. And the first chapter is all about the cultivation of bodhicitta. Bodhicitta, if you can think of it, is this incorruptible nature of a harmonized heart and mind. It's a person's capacity to hold discomfort and healing at the same time, can hold frustration that arises for all the reasons that it arises, and a level of curiosity like, ooh, look at this. Would you look at that? Huh, wonder what this is all about. And the reason why we want to learn how to hold both of these things simultaneously is to decrease our very human propensity to experience something, particularly if it's negative, and react on it, just spin out on it, make ourselves miserable, make other people miserable. And I want to give you a real life example that happened yesterday with one of my daughters. We had to go into a hell realm, otherwise known as Walmart, yesterday. So the Buddha, it is said that in the legend of the Buddha traveled psychologically, energetically to many different hell realms. I think Walmart is one of those energetic places. It's a difficult environment for me. It could be something else for someone else. But for me, it is a challenging place. It is a hell realm. It's a wonderful opportunity to practice. So I'm there with my daughter, and she is off searching for cosmetics. And she comes back and she tells me, Mom, we have to return to the cosmetics section because apparently you have to purchase the cosmetics in the cosmetics section. You can't just put them in your cart anymore. And then she goes off and tells me how rude the Walmart workers were, the customer service people were, the sales lady was. They were rude to my daughter. They were annoying. She found the whole thing so upsetting. So for 10 minutes, I listened to my daughter's upset over the fact that she could not take her cosmetics with her. So we go back, we finish all of our shopping, and we go back to the cosmetics section, and I was met by one of the sales clerk who says, "Oh, I'm glad you came back. I was about to put all this stuff away." And my daughter just rolled her eyes. I mean, her inner adolescent was absolutely activated, on high alert, supercharged. She was so pissed off. Ugh. Ooh. So fascinating. I purchased the cosmetics. No big deal. We purchased all the rest of our nonsense, left the store, and then we had a conversation. And I asked my daughter if she could see beyond her own reactivity about what was going on. What was motivating the idea that you could no longer take these items off the shelf and put them in your cart and continue shopping? What motivated that action? And my daughter couldn't answer the question. And mostly it was because she wasn't even curious about it. She was just mad. And I kind of pictured her like a tea bag, just steeping in her anger. And so I reminded her, people are obviously stealing these items. So this is one of the safety measures that they have put into place. My next question or comment to my daughter was, how many people do they have to tell, hey, you can't take that with you, you have to purchase it here? And how many people do they encounter who are incredibly rude about it? Which is probably why they were rude. They're mirroring those types of engagements. So I was telling my daughter the reason why we want to understand the conditions of all of this is not so that we can feel superior or better than these other people. It's so that I don't allow them to take free rent in the serenity of my own mind and heart. I don't want to have to feel all that discomfort for longer than I need to. I want to be able to feel it, identify it, examine it, get curious about it, and then let it go. And that is the invitation of a bodhisattva, to open up, to be curious about, wow, look at my own reactivity. And I reminded my daughter, this is over makeup at Walmart. Like, what? You're allowing yourself to be this upset over makeup from Walmart. What are you doing? And it can happen just like that. To cultivate bodhicitta, to cultivate that level of openness, it allows us to hold the reactivity that we're bound to have as a human being, but to also apply some transformative curiosity, some expanding wonder. What is this all about? That way we don't escalate the reactivity, we don't make it worse, we don't upset ourselves in an exaggerated way, and more importantly, we don't cause harm to other people. We don't allow our frustration to turn into judgment, blame, shame, negativity. These are extraordinary things that we can do, but we have to practice. And life gives us so many opportunities. Who knew that Walmart would be such a great sanctuary in which to practice, even though it's a hell realm for me? Shantideva's whole dedication as a way of becoming a bodhisattva, as a way of being someone in the world that is devoted to dispelling, to decreasing misery in oneself and in others. And you can do that. I can do that by simply adjusting your presence. It's as simple and as profound as that. So let's take some time here today, a little bit of quiet, and see if you can allow an upset that happened in your recent experience. And again, this is not about judging the upset. It's not about assigning, oh, I shouldn't have gotten so upset. That's not relevant here. What's relevant is there is an upset. Let's see if we can treat it with some neutrality. Now, what are the conditions surrounding that? Can you be curious about what were the feelings? What was the inner conflict? Who were the outside agents here? What were the spoons, in other words, stirring up all your stuff? See if you can identify them. See if you can identify anything that you reacted to that added to the heat, that escalated or exaggerated it. See if you can identify an action or a single breath that might have turned down the fire of the situation. And should your mind wander away from this reflection, I invite you to smile. Smile that you noticed your mind wandering away. That's a beautiful moment of awareness. And then bring yourself back to the task. And notice what you notice. friends. As we go into the rest of our day, one of the things to remember is what the word Buddha means. It is to be awake. And at least to me, wakefulness is not about becoming so spiritual that I'm no longer human. I no longer have human experiences or human emotions. That sounds completely boring to me. That sounds like a hell realm, actually, because there's something so rich. I am a human being. I'm embodied in this clay form, and I'm going to have these experiences, and so I'm endeavoring to awaken so that I can take these experiences and not add more misery to them. I take these experiences and I use them as fodder for my own sense of curiosity, my own sense of wonder. And maybe, just maybe, by putting less misery in my own mind and heart, I will by extension put less misery in the world. And I think if we can all endeavor to do that by a single degree, we will have amplified so much peace. What a beautiful aspiration. Thank you for joining me in that practice. Let's go ahead and end our practice today with a dedication of merit. And I'd like to just invite you to turn inward again. Let's take a moment to reflect on the sanctuary that you've experienced here today, the ability to find refuge. In hearing about a human being who was truly able to awaken to his own conditions of suffering, and by extension to see reality as it is, and to understand the conditions for all suffering in all living beings. And to recognize that we are here to bring forward his teachings, the Dharma. And we're here to make sure they come alive in each of us in our own unique ways. And so there's so much to be gained by coming into a community of people just aspiring to soften and open, be curious and wonder, and to really shift relationships to habit energy. I like to think about Pema Chodron's gentle reminder that, when you have come into awareness of a particular tool, a particular idea that really speaks to you, she always encourages her students to practice for the next 10 years. and then see how you do. So we're in it for the long haul, friends. And so let's remember that when we approach any kind of threshold, a threshold between certainty and uncertainty, may we take a moment to be still, to be quiet, to observe, to be. Let that be your practice. See you next time. Namaste.